Yeah, the Seattle Times contacted you and about an interview. So why don't you take it from there, explain to the folks what happened, explain to the folks the situation, and let's put all of these rumors and these innuendos, let's get the facts out there, because we're not afraid of the facts. We're all about transparency at the Culp for Governor campaign. So let's put it all out there and let's let the folks know what is really going on.
Yeah, I've seen some of the comments. You know, if somebody out there doesn't know what I'm talking about, people are making comments that I protect pedophiles, that I'm abusive to 12-year-old girls. It's just ugly. You know, it's ugly.
It's terrible.
And it's happening. You know, we expected attacks to come from the Democrats, but these are coming from supposedly conservative Republicans. And, you know, it's just, I don't know. That's politics, I guess. But the lies that they're spreading, you know, are totally unfounded. That the case that's in question, it's still a lawsuit. The county that I live in, county officers, the city that I work in, and myself are being sued by some people, and it's an open case. You know, it's an open lawsuit, and I can't go into details. But what I can tell you is that this is not my case. I wasn't the case officer. It did not. It's alleged to have happened someplace that is not within my jurisdiction. Didn't happen where I work. It's not my case. I was asked by another officer who was on duty in his jurisdiction by himself if I would come with him as backup. And absolutely, that's what you do when you're in police work. You provide backup to anybody, anywhere that you can when you're asked. So not my case, not in my jurisdiction. I was a narcotics detective at the time, not the chief of police. But I said, yes, I'll come and be your backup. And the case, you know, anybody can sue anybody for anything, right? I could go into well, not tonight, but I could go into the courthouse tomorrow and file an affidavit and a lawsuit claiming that my opponents, you know, all of them were in my field. They killed one of my goats and had a satanic ritual in my field. And I saw it and witnessed it, and I'm suing all of them. I could do that. And it would be stamped as being supplied to the court, turned in to the court clerk. It would have the official stamp and date, time, and everything on it. But that doesn't make it true, right? That's what I'm suing them for. And anybody can make any. Now, they did not do that. I want to be perfectly clear.
Right.
You know, none of my opponents had a satanic ritual in my farm, in my field.
Right.
I want to be clear about that. But I could go in and claim that and file a lawsuit against them, and it would be in the court record, right? But just because someone sues someone doesn't mean that it's truth. Doesn't mean that it's true. It doesn't mean the person is guilty of what I'm claiming. I could claim anything. So that's my take on it. And because, like I said, it's a pending lawsuit, I'm not going to get into the details. I talked to the reporter from the Seattle Times, and I explained the same thing to him. This wasn't my case. I didn't investigate it. There were interviews done where I wasn't even there. You know, other people investigated this. I went to back up an officer one time in this case. And if anybody's wondering where anyone is that, you know, where offenders go or what's happened to offenders that are from my jurisdiction, you know, that there's been quite a few child abuse cases in the city limits of Republic when I was a police officer. And if anyone would like to go interview any of those offenders, you would probably need to look them up in the state penitentiary, because I take child abuse very seriously. So that's pretty much all I've got to say about that. You know, it's obvious that my opponents and their supporters are scared. because I'm winning, with the people's support and the people's help, we are winning. And that makes a lot of people mad. There's a lot of people that think that this was their turn, right? I'm not the party pick. I'm not the establishment guy, but we're winning. And there's a lot of people that are ticked off about that, and they're spreading rumors about me. So now you know my take on it and my position on it. You can make all the claims you want to, until you prove it. That's all it is your claim.
So apparently the Seattle Times didn't think it was that much of a story, because initially they were going to run it along with their profile of you. And when you talked to them a second time, they indicated that the information had been supplied to them, right?
Yes,
so someone brought
exactly.
One of our opponents brought it to the media, brought it to the press, and said, "Hey, listen, run this against this guy." But what did the Seattle Times reporter tell you? The reason was that he wasn't going to run it along with the piece, the profile piece about you.
Well, I of course, I interviewed with the Seattle Times, talked about this.
Sure.
And I said, I told him, I said, I've been a police officer for 10 years, chief of police for 3.5. And I received the key to the city from the citizens of Republic for the good work that I do here. Do you really think they're going to award me the key to the city if I was a bad cop, if I was abusive, if I didn't investigate crimes effectively and put bad people in jail? Really? So, and I also let him know that I received the Police Chief of the Decade Award from a national organization for the work that I do in standing up for citizens' rights.
Right.
For people to claim that I'm going to come down on the side of child abusers, they have no clue. They have no clue. They don't care about the truth. That's obvious. They just care about winning. And there's a lot at stake with some people. There's billions of dollars at stake in this state. So I wasn't chosen by the establishment. I could give no cares about the establishment. I have one special interest group I'm working for, and that's the citizens of Washington State. I wasn't picked by anybody except the citizens. So,
and I want to be clear. So I know that you're under some restraints on what you can and can't say because you're involved in a lawsuit. However, I am not. So I'm going to follow up on some of this. So I want to be very clear to all the viewers. I know exactly who did this. I've known who was involved in it. And the reason that we haven't come after any of the people, I want to be very clear about this with the folks. The reason that we haven't come after any of the people who have attacked us, whether it was with that blackmail video or whether it was, with that, the PDC, the false PDC claim, we know exactly who wrote that. The candidate has a member of his staff who is a whistleblower that called me and told me exactly who did that. So I know exactly who did it, but I'm not interested in throwing mud on any of our opponents. And I'm going to tell everybody why, because I want to give you guys an insight into campaign life and into my mind and into the minds of our staff, and also Mr. Culp. At any given time in Washington State, there are between 7.5 and 7.9 million people. Okay. These are moms, dads, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, sons, daughters. And there are hundreds of billions of dollars worth of GDP. These are farmers, these are agriculture businesses, these are manufacturers, these are timber companies, these are regular small business, these are hairdressers, these are everyday people. These are people that you know and love in your community. And everyone in this state and all of the finances that go on inside this state are at stake. Because if we get 4 more years of Jay Inslee, it's all going to go away. It's going to be very, very difficult, very, very bad for a very long time in this state. And that is what is at stake. And I want to be deadly serious with any of our opponents that are watching. You are not doing anything to help get rid of Jay Inslee by doing this sort of thing. We are not going to retaliate against you. but we do know who you are, and we know what's going on, and we've got your number, but we are focused on winning, because that's what winners do. Winners focus on winning, and losers focus on the winners. So the Culp campaign under my leadership is never going to play any of these stupid games. We've not run any sort of hit pieces against any of our candidates. Any criticism of our candidates has been fair and has been just things that were out in the public. We've not dug up dirt. I've not sent any sort of private investigators, to go search out what people do in dark places. I've run oppo on all of our opponents, and I do have those dossiers that we can put out, but I'm not going to do that, because that doesn't do anything to help Mr. Culp. It doesn't do anything to help the Republican Party, and it doesn't do anything to get rid of Jay Inslee. We are focused on winning. That is what we are about. We do not tell people to steal yard signs. We do not tell people to do dirty business, because that's not how we do business at the Culp campaign. We have been successful here, Loren, because you have stayed on message. You have stayed on point, and you have represented the only special interest that matters, and that's we the people. And Mr. Culp, underneath with your leadership and underneath my leadership, we're going to continue to move in that direction. We're going to continue to represent the folks and to listen to their needs and to make sure that their voices get heard. And I want to make this very, very clear. We're not playing games. We're focused on August 4th. We are ready to go. We can't wait to continue to run positive, uplifting campaign that has vision and direction and power.